training day, every single day. And as I get into a lot of my material that I'm going to present on social media and how to be more effective on social media and how to actually generate a lot of business from social media, I'm going to go into some things that I've taught some of my agents, one of which is hashtagging. Anybody in here familiar with what hashtags are? Is anybody using them? Are they making a difference in your business? Yeah, kind of, sort of? Okay. One hashtag that I have had one of my agents promote, and this is actually kind of funny because it's gotten him a lot of notoriety throughout the San Antonio area, is hashtag Mike the Lazy Realtor. He is not lazy at all. As a matter of fact, he is very effective when it comes to his marketing. But now he'll walk into a local restaurant or somewhere else in the San Antonio area and they're like, hey, it's Mike the Lazy Realtor. So, you know, it actually works really well for him, and he's actually used that as part of his personal branding, and he uses it on his social media accounts. What I'm going to do today is first talk about what is king on the internet. Anybody want to take a guess? Blogging is good. It's all about content. I'm going to share with you a statistic that I learned recently, and that is over the last 2 years, we are putting more content on the internet in 2 days than we have shared in the past 30 years. By the year 2020, we will be putting more content on the internet in 3 hours than what we have in the past 30 years. It's a pretty staggering statistic, right? That means there's a lot of content for people to sift through, though. So how are they going to find yours? We're going to talk about that. Now, I have one rule when I talk about blogging and when I talk about social media. My one rule is, I want you to forget everything you think you know about both of these things. There's a lot of people out there who have done this, who have trained this, and I'm telling you the model that I've used, I developed during the absolute worst market in history when everything bottomed out. And I started out small and I started using blogging, and then I integrated into social media. I'm going to give you a little bit about my story and how I did that as I go through this. And this is the model that I teach to my agents, and it is very different than what you've probably seen in the past. I'm going to open it up to questions as we go through, and I'm also going to do some live demonstrations so that you guys can actually see what I'm doing in practice. But if you have some questions along the way, just raise your hand and ask. So I'm happy to answer anything that you guys have. All right? So you ready to learn? All right. I already learned something this morning, and what I learned this morning is I am never, ever, ever going to complain about San Antonio traffic again. Y'all, I don't know how you do it up here, because I was, you know, whizzing right along and then all of a sudden dead stop. I was like, really? Really? So that was my learning lesson for the day, and that's something that I'm going to integrate later as I teach you guys some stuff about blogging and social media. What we're going to talk about first is content. And the reason that we're going to talk about content is because you want something valuable to push out to your social media audience, right? And if you don't have something valuable to push out to your social media audience, what happens? They tune you out, right? So, you know, there's some examples that I'm going to share with you of some agents that I see doing it wrong, because I use social media in my recruiting a lot. And what I see a lot of is, oh, it's a great day to go sell homes. Oh, it's a great day to close. Oh, it's a great day. And it's all this shameless self-promotion technique that makes you just like every other network marketer out there. How many of you have network marketers on your social media contact list? Do they get a little annoying after a while? Yeah? So you don't want to be that real estate who's that network marketer. We want to provide some actual good, fresh content that people are going to respond to and really get into and interact with you on, okay? So that's where we're going to start. Okay, first off, a little bit about me. I'm a nerd. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I have a lot of different acronyms behind my name because I was a trainer and manager for a technology training company for 10 years. With that, I learned a lot about computers. I learned a lot about how to handle technology on a very organic level. I got into real estate selling new homes for KB in 2006. And I was one of the top 50 sales counselors in the country year over year over year. Then in 2007, I started seeing all of these awesome commission checks that real estate agents were making. And I started thinking, wait a minute, I'm working like a dog 10 hours a day, and these guys are walking away with $5,000 and $6,000. I can do that. So I started selling residential real estate in 2007 all the way to 2010. I used blogging and social media as my primary lead generation tools, and I did that because it was the absolute lowest cost for me. And two, I also realized I really don't like people that much, so I didn't want to go knock on doors, and I didn't want to pick up the phone and call people, so I went ahead and, started using social media as my venue. Right now, as it stands, I have a friend list of about 5,000 people on my personal page. I manage 3 different business pages, and I also have a following and subscriber list of over 2,000 people on Twitter, lots of people on LinkedIn and other social media venues as well. So trust me when I say I know what I'm doing when it comes to social media. My blogs landed me on the front page of major online publications. I was on the front page of Yahoo.com, MSN Money, Bankrate, CNN Money, even Realtor.com. But here's where it gets really interesting. And this is another model that I teach my agents. It's not enough to blog. What if you could create passive income from your blogs? Would you be interested? I mean, who doesn't want to earn money passively? When I was on the front page of Yahoo, I did an article about a 10-day spending fast. It was a social experiment that I did. The first time I landed on the front page of Yahoo, I earned $4,000 in 48 hours off of a 350-word piece. Would that be of interest to you? Is that something that you think I shared with my social media audience? Do you think that that boosted my numbers even more? Okay. So I blog and I use affiliate marketing, social media, and YouTube to market our brokerage. And by doing that, I have literally doubled the size of our office in less than a year. So it works when done correctly. And I still blog. And one of the blogs that I wrote, I'm going to share with you guys today so that you have good examples of, what you're looking at. Okay? Is anybody in here blogging right now? Where are you blogging? Okay.
My art or my other website.
Okay.
I just started creating content for it.
Okay.
I have the domain name, I have it in HostGator, and I just started developing content.
What platform are you using? Are you using WordPress, Blogger?
WordPress.
Okay. I'm going to teach you something a little bit different today. Okay, so why do we blog? Well, it separates you from the pack because it makes you an industry expert. You can use your expertise as realtors. Everybody in here has interesting real estate stories to share, right? I mean, I walked in once when I was doing an REO listing, and I was going to go in and do my BPO and take the pictures and do all that fun stuff. The house was literally full of chickens. I kid you not, it was full of chickens. So I saw an opportunity here to, use some levity on my social media accounts, and I said, geez, looks like somebody cock-blocked my listing. It got a really good response, though. People thought it was really funny. People really enjoy the levity that you can bring to the table when you're dealing with funny real estate experiences. I had an agent of mine who texted me one day and said, I went out to show this listing, there was no key in the lockbox, so I had to climb through the window. Well, his client thought it was so funny that she took a picture of him climbing through the window to show the listing. He shared that on his social media, so did she, and he actually got 4 referrals off of it. Because clearly he works pretty hard if he's going to climb through a window, right? So with that, with blogging and with gaining that notoriety, I was also invited to do a lot of radio interviews. I was even invited to do a Huffington Post video panel. Now, mind you, I'm going to share my political affiliation. I'm very Republican, so I'm not a fan of the Puffington Post. But at the same time, it really brought a lot of notoriety to me as a real estate agent, because all of a sudden people were paying attention. I have not sent out a single social media friend request since I hit 2,000 people. They have all come to me. They have all come to me as a result of my blogging. So if you use your strategies, you're going to actually earn money in your pocket using upfront assignments and also passive residual income. Basically, you get paid every time somebody clicks on the link to your blog using my system. Pretty good? Okay. So statistics have also shown us that businesses that blog, and you are a business, right, are 54% more successful than businesses who do not. We all have unique and interesting stories. Just about everything is a bloggable moment. I'm going to give you an example of this because I do practice what I preach. I carry a notebook around with me, and as I have different conversations with my agents in my office about what they're doing or what they're experiencing in the market, I actually write down ideas for different blogs as I go through the day. Because has anybody in here suffered from writer's block? You know you need to create the content, but you're like, oh, I have no idea what I'm going to say. Well, guess what? Because you're here at this class, there is something that I will email to you and I will share my information with you. I have a spreadsheet of over 600 different real estate titles that you can utilize. But I do actually keep my own running list of different ideas every single day. So that when I'm sitting down to write a blog at the end of the day or throughout my day, I have plenty of content ideas to go off of. And that way I'm not hamstringing myself either, because sometimes I'm like, I don't want to write about that. You know, I'm over that. But I do want to write about this or this or this, so I have these other options that I can choose from. So the next question is, how many blogs do you write a day? Anybody? One a day is sufficient, but starting off with at least 3 per week is good. Okay, so what do we blog about? Well, we kind of already talked about that, but some of the things that I always hit on were personal finance. As a real estate agent, you wear a lot of hats, right? You perform a lot of roles. You're a real estate agent, you're a finance expert, you're a marriage counselor, you're a diaper changer. I mean, you know, you perform all of these different roles as a real estate agent. So you take those and use those when you're writing about something. I have an agent in my office who recently closed a transaction with a gentleman who can neither speak nor hear. It was a very interesting transaction for her to be able to complete. But here's the funny thing. Guy didn't realize he was divorced like 5 days before they were supposed to close. So all of a sudden they're rushing to divorce court to get the decree done so that he can close on his house. Well, my agent took that experience with this client and she wrote a blog about it. With his permission, of course, not using his name. But she called it my life-changing client because she learned a lot from this guy. And that went almost viral for her. People really responded to that. So, you know, using those experiences is very, very crucial when you're doing things. I've also written a lot of parenting and grandparenting tips through one of the websites that I work for. I'm what they call a parenting guru. Hardly a guru. I simply have twin 19-year-old daughters and a 12-year-old that I've managed to keep alive for, you know, a while. By the way, 19-year-old free to good home, if anyone's interested. Home tips, cleaning, maintenance, things of that nature. You know, I've done things like how often you should do different maintenance on your home, or a 12-month maintenance schedule that people can follow month by month by month. How-tos are very popular. You know, how to buy a house. You know, make the title kind of interesting. Use some levity there as well. How to buy a house without completely screwing it up. You know, how to sell a house. You know, you can talk about other realtor reputations, how that plays in to sometimes with listings and, you know, sellers and buyers and things like that. Use your expertise. And then personal stories about your clients. I wrote a couple personal stories about my clients. When I was a rookie agent, I had some clients, and I can say their name because they live in San Antonio, the Heineys, who were a pain in the 83 homes I showed that couple. 83 homes, total rookie mistake. I wasn't with my great brokerage at the time. I wasn't getting a lot of support, but 83 different homes. And I blogged about it because they drove me insane. From day one all the way till I finally got them closed on a house with a $5,000 bonus, they drove me bananas. Like they decided one day before, oh, we don't want to close. Okay, great, lose your earnest money. Oh, well, maybe we do want to close. Okay, good, let's go. Why did that come up? Okay. So, this is where we start. Going to go to contributor.yahoo.com. And I do have a resource list put together that I will pass out that has these web addresses on it. But this is where you're going to start. And you're going to create a new account on yahoo.com. And the reason that you're going to create this account on yahoo.com is because you're going to now have a national advertising backbone. This is also the website where you are going to get paid upfront assignments and earn your passive income. Now the next question I always get is, how much are paid upfront assignments? Well, when you're a newbie, when you're a rookie at this, you're looking anywhere between $10 to $15 per article as an upfront assignment, but then you also earn money on the click-throughs as well. When you get to a more expert level, you're looking at $250 to $500 for each upfront assignment plus the residuals. So that's what I'm earning right now, is between $200 to $500 per assignment that I get. The next thing you do once you sign up is you complete your profile. I'm on about 6 different Yahoo sites. This is actually a screenshot of my account. Daily estimated page views, these are up here, but total page views for all the different sites I'm on when I looked at it last was over 6 million. So that's a lot of content that I've put out there. I've got 500 pieces of published content on this particular thing alone. Now this does not happen overnight. I do not expect you to go and burn up your keyboards and create 500 pieces of content. But over time you're going to see your growth, and you're going to see your expansion, and you're going to see people subscribing to you and, you know, becoming aware of who you are and what you're doing and what you're sharing. So it does make for a good thing. But the first thing you need to do, and this is also something we're going to talk about when we get into social media, is create a complete profile. Okay? I'll give you an example. You fill out all of your information completely. You write your bio or your byline in the third person. Do not say I. Think of you're writing about yourself as someone else. So when I write my bios, it's always Shauna Zamarippa is, and Shauna Zamarippa has done, and things like that. Then you want to add a profile photo. Your headshot is perfect. You all have a headshot, right? So you want to add a profile photo so that people can see your beautiful faces. And then you add the URLs. Bonus points if anybody can tell me what URL stands for. URL stands for Universal Remote Locator, and you're absolutely correct. It is a domain name. But you want to add your URLs for your brokerage site, and then you also want to add the URLs for all of your social media accounts. Because as people are reading your blogs, they're going to click on you for your social media and start following you and becoming part of your regular audience. So it's just your, anything that's your www.com, whatever, your facebook.com, I'm an awesome realtor, whatever it is, okay? And it's up to you. Add your personal site or your business pages. Google Plus has business pages now, Facebook has business pages now, Twitter has business pages, Pinterest even has an option to convert your Pinterest account into a business account. And I'll go into that in a little bit as well. So it's up to you whether or not you want to add your fan page or your personal page. I personally add both. Why? Because when I am blogging or when I'm talking to people, I think most people will agree that people do not care what you know until they know that you care. And when I'm interacting with them, it makes a big difference. Me being interactive with people, even in my local community, has brought me clients like judges, lawyers, jewelry store owners, people who have money to spend and who are ready to buy now or buy their second home or what have you. All because I interact. So we'll get into interaction and how much interaction you need to do in a little bit. Now here's where we get a little bit more in depth with this. The Contributor Network gives you something called the Academy. What the Academy does is it gives you the basics on SEO for your blogs, on what a good blog should look like, on what people are expecting to read. And basically you're going to sit down probably for 2 or 3 hours if you want to do it in one sitting and go through all 3 levels of their certification courses. When you're going through these certification courses, you're going to learn the elements of being a really good blogger, and then you're also going to be eligible for a lot of upfront paid assignments. Now, here's the caveat with that. Sometimes you're going to get assignments like title suggestions, how I paid off my mortgage in 10 years. Well, if you or someone you know did not pay off their mortgage in 10 years, don't write that piece. But if you have, use that. Because Yahoo's already done a lot of the guesswork for you in coming up with what is trending, what is a good title. So they're giving it to you already, and then they're offering you an upfront payment with that. So once you take all three certification courses, you get a lot more exposure with the Yahoo affiliated websites. Yahoo is everywhere. That's how I got on Realtor.com. It's how I got on MSN. It's how I got on CNN, because Yahoo is sharing that content. So really, I'm double dipping because I'm already on Yahoo, and then I'm on other websites, and I'm earning the passive income from that. But the Academy is going to cover all blogging basics and elements of a great blog, so it's a really good training material that's a little bit outside the box, that's really going to teach you what you need to know about blogging. This is what the Academy looks like. There's different sections of the Yahoo Contributor Network. There's Yahoo Finance, which is obviously where you all need to be, right? Because finance is tied into real estate. So there we go. But there's also Yahoo TV. Anybody in here watch Glee? I'm a huge Glee fanatic. So I applied for a column to write about Glee. I got it. So you've got Yahoo TV, if any sports enthusiasts in the room? There's a Yahoo Sports section where you can write about sports. You think your clients like talking about sports? Yeah. I mean, where are the 2 places that most real estate business gets done? The 2 places I spend most of my time, the golf course and the bar. Because it really gives you an opportunity to talk to people and get them talking to you. Because once you start talking to them about what they do, you start talking about what you do, and then it all kind of comes together from there. But then, of course, you say, hey, look me up on Facebook, follow me right now. And they do. So then you've got that connection, you've got that captured lead. But you take these things and you can push this kind of content about TV shows that you like, that your clients might like as well, or about sports that you're following that your clients might like as well, because they're going to read that, right? And everything that you're putting out there does tie back into real estate, even if you're not talking about real estate all the time. Okay, so Brainstorm Titles. There's a couple different methods that I use for this. One is the quick and dirty method. What I mean by quick and dirty is you go to Google and you start typing something in the search bar and you automatically see things pop up as suggestions, right? The reason that this is important is these suggestions are giving you what people are searching for right up front. So these are the hottest things right now that people are looking for. And I just put in how to buy. How to buy a house is number 1. How to buy stock was number 2. How to buy Bitcoin was number 3. How to buy a car was number 4. I mean, you could even take this and make it into a real estate title. How to not buy a car 2 days before you close on your house. So just, start thinking about that, because you can tie everything back into real estate, even if it's not real estate related directly. But that way you can automatically generate those keyword ideas as you're brainstorming your different titles that you're looking at. There's another one, gives you a little bit more in-depth ideas. It's the Google Keyword Suggestion Tool. Has anybody in here taken any classes about short keywords and long tail keywords? Know the difference between the two? What did you learn?
I'm thinking of the links.
Okay.
Using Bitly.
Yeah. What a short keyword is how to buy a house. That's a short keyword that you can start crafting a title from. Long tail keywords are how, basically this is how to, and I put anything related to do with money. This makes a lot more in-depth list for you. How a money order works, how to add money to PayPal, how and where to invest money, how banks create money, how blogs make money, how budget, how you can budget, how can I earn money, how does Mark Zuckerberg make money. There's a lot of different things on here that you can utilize that it's going to automatically suggest for you. What's nice about this is you can just move this over to here, put it in an Excel file or a Word file, and you've got your running title list. So even if you're sitting at a builder's office one day where you have no internet, you can still write your blogs while you're waiting on traffic, right? And this is also on the resource list, by the way. So rules for keywords. This is really just what I'm going to go over as far as keywords are concerned. Keywords are very important. It's how people find your content, okay? Because there's a lot of people writing information like how to buy a house. But if they're not using keywords correctly, they're not going to get indexed on that first page of Google. How many of you really spend a lot of time going past that first page of Google when you're looking for something? If it's not on the first page, you're really not going to go digging unless it's really important to you, right? So the key is you want to be on that first page of Google. So what you're going to do is you're going to select 3 to 5 keywords or phrases. You write those down on a sheet of paper. You incorporate that key phrase into your title. For example, on the one that I'm going to share with you, one I wrote was 5 must-have traits of rock star realtors. Because you have to remember when you're writing a title, you need to write something that people are going to be compelled to click on, right? I wrote one recently, 5 ways to tell when it's time to break up with your real estate agent. People are compelled to click on that. It was kind of a tongue-in-cheek piece that I wrote, but it was something that people were compelled to click on because of the title. So think about when you're compelled to click on a title. It's always something that is of interest to you that pops out. We were brainstorming one day in one of my workshops, and one of my agents is kind of a health fanatic, and he came up with a great idea, 5 foods that are killing you. So, different things that you're taking it in that way, but taking his personal interest and also blogging about those. You're going to use the keywords and subheadings, which you're going to put in bold in the paragraph of your blog, okay? You want to use your keywords 3 to 5 times throughout your piece. So what I tend to do is when I'm picking a keyword, if I'm going to say my keywords from my article, for example, were rock star realtors, okay? So I used a couple subheads with rock star realtors in there so that I could not pad my content and still make it flow, but also incorporating those keywords that 3 to 5 times throughout my piece. Keywords, remember, do not need to fall under the same theme. So if you were writing an article, for example, how to buy a house, you could also talk about how to save money for a down payment and how to buy a house. Not every single keyword you select has got to fall under the theme of your title. Does that make sense? Okay. And again, I've got 600 different titles that you could use that have already been keyword optimized and selected. So you will have that, have at it, knock yourselves out. Okay, basic blogging rules. There's some basic things that really help you separate yourself from the pack, because a lot of people tend to get really wordy, especially when we're writing about real estate. Because we have a lot of information up in our little noggins that we want to share with the world. We know some stuff, right? So it's really easy for agents to go over a certain word count. Really, you want to go at least 350 words. 600 is your max. Don't go over 600. What do you think the attention span is of the average person online? They're like gnats with ADD, right? Yeah. Because they sit there and they're like, nah. So really what they're doing is they're skimming your pieces. Now, does that really matter to you? No. Because if it's enough interesting content, they're going to say, I'll follow them on social media, or I'll, read their blog, or, I'll share it, or whatever. Numbered and bulleted lists are best. So when you're writing something, think of 5 ways, 6 ways, 3 ways. 3 ways to choose the best agent possible. Well, there is your shameless self-promotion in there, right? Because you're going to talk about the 3 attributes and traits that you have that make you better than every other Houston area real estate agent, right? And then you want to have all of your blogs need to have 1 photo attached to them, at least 1. I like to create custom photos. So for example, on one that I did, it was 10 bad financial habits I'm breaking in 2014. So what I did was I got in front of my webcam, I had a piece of paper, I wrote bad habits on it, I ripped it in half, took a picture of myself, bam, there's my photo. So when you're doing that, the more opportunities you have for putting photos out there is great, because as you are going through your own social media feeds, what do you see a lot of? Photo and video, right? Photo and video is king. So if you're putting photos in your blogs, it's really only going to help you. Now this is a tip that is one thing that I had to really go back and remember when I first started this, because I used to go into the blogging platform probably a lot like what you're doing with WordPress, and I would write the blog in there. Well, sometimes, as we all know, the internet might hiccup a little bit, might lose connection, and then everything that you just did is gone. So my best suggestion is writing in a program like Microsoft Word and then saving it. The program also provides you with grammar, spell check, and word count feature, which is a good thing. Everybody know the shortcut to doing a grammar and spell check in Word? F7, my best friend. There's another program, if you want to write this down, you can. I subscribe to it. It's called Grammarly, which is Grammarly.com. It's a service that costs about $19.95 a month. What it does is it does a more in-depth check of all of your grammar, and it also provides you suggestions, because we tend to use the same words a lot when we speak. We tend to do the same thing when we write. So it's got a built-in thesaurus, so it's really going to make you sound smart. Grammarly, Grammarly.com. So basically all you have to do is once you've written the blog and done, it's got the little word count feature at the bottom when you're using Word. So it's going to tell you how many words you've got, so you know you're not going over your word count. You just copy and paste that into the submission form. Easy as pie. Okay, so case studies. Obviously I've got to back up what I say, right? Okay. Over half of my agents are blogging and using social media as their primary lead generation tools, and they're doing it very successfully. A lot of them have even gone on my page and leached some of my friends. So, I've got a couple of them who are like, oh, well, I like that realtor, that you have, so I'm going to build a business relationship with that realtor. So naturally, they love me because they're building their business with that. But out of these agents, many of them are already receiving paid assignments for new blogs. Let me tell you the buzz that creates around the office. When all of a sudden an agent gets a paid assignment from Yahoo, she's like, oh, I got a paid assignment from Yahoo. And everybody else who isn't blogging is like, oh, wow, you got paid to do that? Maybe I should do that. And it does work. The agents that I have that are completing 5 or more blogs per week are already generating hundreds of dollars in passive income. And they have custom created content that they're pushing on their social media sites. Not only are they pushing on their social media sites, but their advocates, their business resources, are also sharing those blogs with other people. So it's helping their real estate business, and it's also helping them build passive income. These agents range in age from 25 to 65. And I say this because I get all the time, well, I'm too young, or I'm too old, or, I just don't get it. If they can do it, anybody can do it. And trust me when I say this, if I can do it, anybody can do it. I know I wear glasses, but I'm really not that smart. Okay, so anybody want to see a live demonstration of how this actually works? Okay. Got it. Thank you. Okay. Why is this not coming up for me? Maybe I need to close out of the PowerPoint. Let's do that. It's thinking. Okay, there we go. So this is the homepage for contributor.yahoo.com. I'm going to show you how easy it is to sign in or register, okay? You see how this has all this information up here? If you already have a yahoo.com email address, you can utilize that to sign in and create your Yahoo contributor account. Me, however, I use Facebook. So I just go down to that little Facebook button right there. I mean, what kind of speaker would I be if I didn't connect everything to my social media accounts if I'm talking on social media, right? Okay. So
you suggested that would be the best way to connect, go into Facebook?
yeah, because it's going to make it really easy for you to share your content when you're pushing it out to your social media. So this is what my homepage looks like right here. What you're going to find is, here's your assignment desk, okay? This is when Yahoo is going to offer me a title suggestion. So I'm going to click on this and show you guys how it works. You know, some of these things I'm not qualified to write to. My experience with macular degeneration, well, I haven't had that problem, thank God. You know, competed in the Westminster Dog Show. No, I haven't done that either. My experience with bypass surgery, no, again, thank you. What it's like to attend the Olympics, if somebody's going to attend the Olympics, you can write about that. What it's like to be audited by the IRS. Well, unfortunately, that one I qualify for. You know, but you could take it and spin it in a positive way, what it's like to be audited by the IRS and win.